Hey?
Didn't work. I tried to stop for a day.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No, because that's the thing. There's something that's already it's lit. You told me that when you said that's what I always know. Even when someone says they're like, "Hey, I watched that video," and they're not that same video that you watch, but they'll say like, "I watched a video and something shifted in me," or like something sparked, or they'll say something activated, and then I'm like, okay, if you join the group, hey, if you want some one-on-one guidance, I have I this weekly program, and they basically maybe later. I'm always like, you'll be back. You'll be back because it just becomes unbearable.
It is
And
unbearable.
it's unbearable, and you find that's the one who sparks your heart is the one that is your guru, is your guide, the one who removes the darkness, who dispels the ignorance, right? And that's where there's just more and more openness to that. That's where actually it's like you'll start I'll put it out there in case you think it's weird, but if you start feeling like, there's this, I don't know, I'm starting to have more of this love for Mitch, then it's like, it's starting, it starts blossoming like that. It starts blossoming like that. And sometimes because you the mind, it just doesn't know what that's like, what that's about. It's just like, what? It almost like it's afraid of it.
On that topic, when we were doing our one-on-one, um, I mentioned something about loving all your analogies, and that was a half truth. What I really found endearing was that you were trying so hard to explain it. So that was what I was loving, not the analogies themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. The analogy is like as close as you can get using words, right? It's one of those things where it's because it's always like you're using something else to relate to something, right? It's like you go and visit planet X and the landscape is totally different, and then you come back to Earth. Now, how would you describe planet X to someone here at Earth? You'd be like, it's kind of like a pineapple tree, but it's like you're starting to like just use references that that they can relate to. All while the entire time you go, it's not this. It's not like this is all I have. That's where I try and use something like with Rasmus with acting, and you with free diving, and Brody with skateboarding. I'm trying to use something that you can relate to, something that you know well. Obviously, I don't know free diving, I don't know skateboarding, I don't know acting, but I'm using it to that's the best that I can do to give some sort of explanation. But then there comes that time where you stop wanting the explanation, and then you just want the energy. You say like, okay, enough. You're like, stop talking to my mind. But we're not there at that point.
Just over the last 2 hours here, there's a stark contrast between being in a dream and being lucid.
Yeah.
It's difficult to associate with the lucidity part of that because
Mm-hmm.
the dreaming is more prominent in retrospect.
Right.
So that's going to shift over time, I guess.
Yeah. Kind of like, have you ever had like these dreams where you start kind of realizing that you're dreaming? Right. So you start becoming lucid. It's like right before you start waking up, where like the dream stops losing power. You stop like kind of like believing that it's all you're like, that's kind of it. It happens so fast, like in the dream, but this kind of almost feels like it draws out a little longer, but it's very similar. Like these patterns in life just repeat over and over. It's like the same thing. It's like, that's where, what's that movie? It's like there's a dream inside a dream inside a dream kind of thing, whatever that movie is. Um, it's
Inception.
yeah, Inception. Yeah. It's like that because it's like everything is fractals. It's like your eye looks exactly like a nebula. Lightning looks exactly like the nervous system. Your thumbprint looks exactly like the grain of wood. Your toilet bowl spins exactly like some, funnel. Right. So it's just like that. Once you start seeing it, then you're like, wow. It's just how can you not be like mesmerized by that? It's just pure intelligence. So everything is basically it's the same pattern just at scale. The complexity of it is increasing. The scale of it is increasing. And it goes infinite that way and infinite this way, you could say.
I've experienced things like that while on psychedelic
Yeah.
substances.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You'll kind of you'll experience that. It's like, it's really cool. It's cool to see it. Once you start seeing it, then you'll see it in plants, you'll see it in just the structures of buildings. It's just everything is just patterns that are just showing up. But it's like there's like, once you start seeing it, because you're so aware of it, the mind it doesn't try and talk about it. There's just like this mesmerization. It's like you're just like awe, like beauty, intelligence, love. It's just all like you're getting all of it at the same time. You're just mesmerized. You're astonished. You're like amazed. And it's just like you just like you're it's like you're perceiving just like this power, this love, this intelligence, this beauty, this um just infinity. you just see it. You just see it. And there's no time to think about it. It's like so you're shocked. Your mind is not, it can't comprehend it. Very similar, like how when you have like a like LSD or mushroom trip or whatever you took, it's like the mind's not there to like tell stories about it. Because what's actually happening is like the drugs like drop the mind. It like it removes the guard. That's why I say, like, with you guys, I try and get you guys to like open up. One, it takes some openness to just come here and talk and uh be open to being on a video kind of thing. That like already that tons of people turn that down. Oh, what? I got to be on video? Nope, not showing up. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? What do you not want to be exposed? Right? It's this closure. But by opening up, talking about stuff, there's this openness. So it's like the guard has been dropped. You're not guarding, you're not defending, you're not wearing the armor. So now there's this openness, and it's with that openness that you're actually starting to perceive everything that's here. And that's what like these drugs really do. Because really, like, your true nature is the ultimate drug. That's why I'm trying to get you hooked on it.
Mission accomplished.
So I just show up here for the call. I give you like a taste. As I say, I'm like giving out samples. Who wants it? Who wants to get a little high tonight? You get like a little. You're like, oh, what was that? That was clean. That was good. That was all highs without the lows. Like, it's when you start getting. If you try some of these drugs, you start saying like, Yeah, I want to be like relaxed, like smoking weed, but I don't want like the paranoia. I don't want like the munchies. I don't want like the fear. I don't want like the laziness. Like you want to be relaxed but not lazy. So it's what your true nature is like. It's the ultimate drug because it doesn't come with any of the side effects. There's also no duration. It's not like, oh, here we go. I'm coming up now on my high. And then it's like, oh, I'm coming down. There's none of that. It's funny because when I look back at like times of like smoking weed and getting high and other stuff, it's like now when I look at them, like, it's like I wasn't getting high. I was actually getting low. That's not, I was disabling myself. Because like you kind of see that like when you drink a lot of alcohol, like you don't really want to drive. I mean, one, it's like you shouldn't. I'm not advising it at all. But why is that? Why is it that you're like that like it's not a good thing to drive, to drink and drive? Why is it not a good thing to like get hot, like smoke weed and then drive? You wouldn't want to like take a, be in a plane if the pilot's like, hey, showing up to the plane with like a half a 2.6 already empty. It's like, where are we going? Hawaii? I'll get you there. And you're the last thing you want to do is be on that guy's plane. Why is that? Because you know that it decreases your performance. It decreases your functionality. It decapacitates you. So you're getting low. Because really, if you're getting high, your experience of life should be high. Kind of like what I was talking with Rasmus, is like you're experiencing more of life. Your experience is deeper, it's richer, it's more intense, it's more vibrant, it's more colorful, it's more alive. This is high. Guess you could say like that's where like some of these like people say like I'm getting high on life. Like yeah, you or what I was told Brody like earlier, like you're getting high on your own supply. You're not looking to external drugs. You're not looking to external sources, because whenever that's created, then you're always going to create a dependency on that. You're always going to create addictions because you're adding it onto you. Addiction, you're adding it to you. Or that's where I'm saying I'm like pointing. I'm saying, well, hey, you want that highness. It's about realizing that you are the highest. And then it doesn't like, there's no dependency on anything. It's like it doesn't run out. You're not like, oh man, like how some people drink and they get like whatever 3 drinks in and they go, I'm really gonna regret this tomorrow. They're like, I'm not looking forward to waking up tomorrow. Kind of
You're
thing. It's like
borrowing your
this.
happiness from the future.
Yeah, I don't. It's like that's the thing. It's I don't even know if you want to call it happiness. It's you're just it's your what's happening is we're numbing ourselves. What's happening is we're numbing ourselves because of the like the suffering, the psychological pain, which is suffering. You're like, oh, just it's like here's your brain, you're like just pouring out alcohol on it. You're like, I just anything. I just don't want to feel my emotions. The emotions are too intense. I just want to numb it. That's kind of what we do. We're like, just something. I just need to smoke to just clear my head. That's what people kind of say. I just need to clear my mind. Just need one joint and I'll clear my mind. What you're saying is like,
lubricant.
Hey,
a social lubricant.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You only need a lubricant when there's friction. Why is there friction? Because you're resisting things. Right? So that's the thing. Once you start seeing it clearly like this, you start seeing how that is not a solution. You start seeing how, oh man, I've actually been doing that all my life. Now, it doesn't always have to be like drugs and alcohol. It could be just binge watching Netflix. It could be anything. It's so subtle. It can be subtle, or it could be just total, just a classic addiction that you don't want to admit, that you don't want to see. But it's when you see clearly that it just like, it doesn't actually, it's not like a lasting solution. It's the best way to put it. Because if it was a lasting solution, then it's like you would just do the addiction once and then it wouldn't be a cycle. But all addictions are very ritual, like it's like, this is my thing. But like I say, is if you want to catch it, is when the ritual happens, when it's like, always around this time, something happens. My thing happens. Don't do the thing. And just sit with that discomfort. Sit with that uneasiness. Sit with that emptiness. Sit with that fear. Sit with whatever it is that is right there. Because the addiction is something that you're adding on. It's like you're adding it on to the emptiness. You're trying to fulfill that void. But it takes courage to just be like, what am I actually trying to cover up? What am I actually running to? What am I actually running away from? And then that's what I said, like, that's where the courage is. Courage starts the minute you say, I'm not running. Because that's the thing. That's why we've talked about this a couple of times, where I think Rasman was saying, I think another girl was saying, I forget if the other girl was saying it, but it's basically saying like, hey, did you know that you can just stop running? That's like, I think someone said it like, yeah, it just feels like I was running my entire life and I just felt like I could now not run. It's like, yeah, because you're running away from yourself. You're running away from your feelings. You're running away from your mind. But the courage starts the moment you say like, I'm not running anymore. So then it's like, let me just feel what's here. And then that's when there's this greater sense of like empowerment, this greater sense of, okay, like I can face this. I can be with this discomfort. And there's huge amounts of like growth. There's huge amounts of realization, huge amounts of release, huge amounts of clarity. Because you're not hiding. You're not like closing your eyes anymore. You're like, I'm not saying I'm not afraid. And you're like, all right, let's see what's here. Oh shit. Yeah. Didn't really get over that breakup. Seems like it's lingering. It's like, keeps on surfacing. Funny. That's every time I reach for the bottle of booze, it's right when this breakup stuff that's lingering continues to surface. Why is that? So then you see like how it's very cyclical.